Hello, everyone. So great to see you again. I hope you've all recovered from your Christmas holidays. And we are now leading into 2026. And with that, I'm going to bring you my January TBR. So it's a New Year TBR. January's. Now, what I'm introducing in this TBR is my new redesigned version of my Yahtzified game. Most of it is exactly as it was before. I will do a little bit of explaining right at the beginning where we show the game, okay, just to go over it all with you as a refresher. But if you want to see the actual video, it is below on the new rules that I set out. Now, the one rule that I did not come up with was, what if I roll multiple Yahtzees, which is multiple 5 of kinds, because now there's only one Yahtzee on the board. So I thought that what would be nice is if you roll an additional 5 of a kind. If I can do that, then what I will do is I get to choose a book, any book I want, or remove a book, any book I want. So I think it's kind of a nice way to sort of choose what I want to do for that particular roll. And it does count for one of my regular rolls, even though I don't fill a square, because if I've already got a Yahtzee, I can't fill it again. But I probably might put a second star there so that we know that, I did a double roll on that one. And I think it's kind of a nice way to balance it out on whether or not I think I want another book or not, depending on where that roll falls. Is it in my 5 rolls, or have I had to add a bunch of rolls and take a bunch of misfortune cards or whatever? So that's just the one extra rule that I forgot to throw in. Okay, so what we're going to do with this is we're going to do our 5 rolls, because that's what we're now doing for Yahtzee. And then what we're going to do at the end is we're going to pick the books that I am going to put on my series challenge books, and also the ones that are going to be part of my Goodreads challenge choices. And those 2 videos are also linked below on me explaining the books I picked. And of course, my series challenge, which is the big challenge for 2026 that I have invited people to join me on. So I will be doing that. But those books I leave to the end, because sometimes those books get picked during the Yahtzee choosing process. So, you'll get familiar with how I run this as we go through 2026. But being that this is the first game with the new Yahtzee and the new rules, I thought it would be good to kind of explain that. And of course, you'll get a sort of an example of that a little bit more when we get to the end, after we've gone through all the books that have come up in the game. All right, so that's enough explanation. Let's go into TBR Yahtzified Roll 1. It is time for our January TBR, and we are playing the new version of my Yahtzified game. So down here, you'll note I made the physical changes on the sheet: large straight and 5 kind any combo. So got rid of one of the Yahtzified, which I think is great. Then I have my new cards down here, which is prompt card, reward card, misfortune card, and the books are slotted into 5 different batches that we will potentially pick from. And that is because now we're only going to do 5 rolls, and instead of 12 our max, 10 is our max, okay? So we're just going to kind of bring that down a little bit, because I have a few challenges that I have created that are going to be for 2026, and I want to make sure I can fit all my books on. Now, the other change that I made is the dice. So we have now a little black dice here. Okay, not sure if you can see that or not, but it is for picking these. So if we roll a 1 and a 4, then it will be the prompt. If we roll a 2 and a 5, it'll be the reward card. And if we roll a 3 and a 6, it will be the misfortune card. So that's what that dice is for. And that is just going to sit off to the side and only get used when I absolutely need it. Okay, all right, so let's get started and we'll go with our first roll. Okay, so we have right off the bat 3 5s, which is just perfect. No. Oh, and we have 5s. So we can pick 4 of a kind on a whole high roll and fill that in, which is perfect because those are always a little hard to get. Pop that in there. Okay, and choose our books. So we're going to do a little bit of a shuffle down here. Okay, cut the deck. And first one is All That We See or Seem. That is a brand new book that I just got from the Broken Binding. Super excited for that one. So excitedly, very excited for this choice. The Yahtzified game chose All That We See or Seem by Ken Liu. And this was my Broken Binding science fiction and fantasy choice that just came in at the end of November. So very excited about it because it was my first book under that subscription. So there's the card, just to confirm that that's what we've got. And you can see this is an absolutely stunning edition. It's got gorgeous end papers on both sides, but I'm going to read the synopsis because this is like totally, it's a sci-fi fantasy. At 14, Julia Z became infamous as the orphan hacker, a teenage prodigy who broke the law and captivated a nation. Now, years later, she's trying to leave that life behind, hiding in the quiet shadows of Boston. But her fragile anonymity is shattered when a desperate lawyer bursts into her life, begging for her to help find his wife, a celebrated artist who uses artificial intelligence to craft shared dreams for thousands of followers, and who has been kidnapped by a criminal syndicate. Against her better judgment, Julia embarks on a harrowing journey across the country, drawn even deeper into the shadows of the American dream. As she tracks the criminals, she confronts not only their perilous schemes, but also the ghosts of her own past. Resourceful, relentless, and deeply contemptuous of authority, Julia must dig deep into her unique skill set and fractured psyche to uncover the truth and to hold on to hope when everything around her descends into darkness. It says, All That We See or Seem blends high-stakes intrigue with profound speculation about the future of art and society in the shadow of artificial intelligence. So, really love that. Love the sound of it. Oh, it's got even great sprayed edges. And I believe this is going to be a series, and I think it will continue with Julia being the key kind of investigator in each series. I don't know if it's going to be ongoing, if there's going to be a cliffhanger or if it's going to get solved. I have no idea. So very much looking forward to reading this one. So that is our first choice. And now we are on to roll 2. Next roll. So this is our second roll. What do we have? What do we have? Let's go with force. Yeah. Oh, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is a small straight. So we will take that. And we're going to roll, pick our next book, next batch of cards. Shuffle them up a little bit. Do a, oops, put that back on the top, cut the deck, and X marks the stalker. I think that's our romance. Okay, another really great choice, something that is fairly new. I haven't had this in my library for very long. It is X Marks the Stalker by K.N. Wilder, and it is the Hemlock Society Book 1. I believe this is a dark stalker romance. Okay, so here's the card, just to prove that that's the card that we chose. Okay, now let me read the back on this one. She hunts killers, he is one. Opposites attract has never been so literal. Crime journalist Oakley Novak has built her career exposing Boston's darkest secrets, but she never expected a serial killer to turn the tables and stalk her. Xander Rhodes spent weeks watching her through hidden cameras, captivated by her sharp mind and relentless drive, until she catches him red-handed and, instead of running, challenges him with a glare that could melt steel. Xander's either found his soulmate or lost his damn mind, probably both. So, yeah, like totally love it. So, a little bit of romance, a little bit of stalker, a little bit of serial killer. Fabulous. Yeah, I know. Don't even go there. Okay, so now we are on to roll 3. Third roll. And we've got 3 ones. And we rolled a Yahtzee. Oh, this is the first Yahtzee that I have gotten since I started this game. I am so excited because Yahtzee is gone. Woo, woo. Oh my gosh, that is like super, super exciting. Okay. Oh, let's just pick a book, shall we? Yes, that's perfect. My gosh. Now we're starting a new game, so the likelihood is that we'll just end up with 5 rolls. Quite possible. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. And so roll 3 came up with Powerless by Lauren Roberts. So here's our card. Okay. Now I've had this on my TBR since it came out originally. And it's just never come up. I do not have any of the other books. This is the only one, I believe, that I have. So I am looking forward to reading it. I have more or less heard that the first book is probably the best one out of the bunch. That, I think, is the general consensus from most people that I've seen on YouTube about it. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to read a little bit about what's on the back here. Payton, thief, ordinary survivor. I've never been looked at like it's a privilege to be in my presence, an honor to hold my gaze, a gift to get a glimpse of me. Not until I met him. Kai, prince, elite, enforcer. If I am to be her enemy, I want it to be because she loathes herself for wanting me. She is the very thing he has spent his whole life hunting. He is the very thing she has spent her whole life pretending to be. And fate ensured they would find each other. So, definitely romantasy, that one. So, a little bit of romance, a little bit of fantasy. Probably a good mix with what I have right here. Yeah. So looking forward to that one. And so now we're on to roll 4. Fourth roll. Oh, we've got our 4s. Okay, so we're just going to go with 4s, and we're going to pick them from up here. Fill in our 4 here, and we're on to our next batch of cards, our next book choice. Okay, and that's going to be Ask Not. Oh, that is nonfiction. So that's actually a good choice. Okay, roll 4 is Ask Not, which is a nonfiction. It's The Kennedys and the Women They Destroyed by Maureen Callahan. This is, there's the card for you. This is a nonfiction that I really actually am very quite excited to read, and that is mostly because it deals with the women behind the Kennedy men, and it talks about their lives. Yeah, all of the wives, and Maureen Callahan is someone that I follow, and I like her writing style, and I like her investigative journalism style as well. So when she came out with this, I'm like, yeah, I have to read it. I think it's going to be great. And I don't read a lot of nonfiction. I'm very particular on the type of nonfiction that I'll read. So this is one that I'm very much looking forward to. Okay, so now we are on to roll 5. And we're on to our 5th and hopefully final roll. Oh, we rolled right off the bat. Oops, that was a 4. We rolled right off the bat a full house. So we're going to take it, and that is 5 perfect rolls, filling up 5 perfect spots. And now we're going to pick our last book. So sorry, I knew this was going to kind of be a bit of a boring game because we were right at the beginning, but once we get into February and March, things will start to get a little sketchy, that's for sure. Okay, next book is Love and Let Chai. So that is a cozy mystery. Oh, very much looking forward to that. And when you know, roll 5, I came up with one of my little cozy mysteries, which is great. And it is Live and Let Chai by Bree Baker. This is the first in a series. Now, I am not really sure. There's the card. Not really sure exactly how many are in this particular series, but I've heard really great things about it from the people that I follow online, like Amy Marie and Tiffany at Beach Bum Bookworm. So these ladies I follow religiously for their cozy recommendations, and this one did come up. So it says, trouble is brewing in Everly's new cafe. Can she bag the culprit? Life hasn't been so sweet for Everly Swan over the past couple of years, but now that she's back in her seaside hometown and the proud owner of a little iced tea shop and cafe right on the beach, things are finally starting to look up. That is, until a curmudgeonly customer turns up dead on the boardwalk with one of her Hallmark glass tea jars lying right next to him and an autopsy report that reports poison in his system. It doesn't look good for Everly or her brand new business. Great way to start, where she is a suspect in the mystery to begin with, and it just kind of goes from there. And it's one of those little wee ones, but it's still 300 pages, and it is like tiny text, right? So it's like reading a regular book. It's like you just need a magnifying glass. It's a good thing I'm wearing glasses, right? So that is actually the very last selection that we had. That was the Yahtzified game. It was a simple 5 rolls, nothing fancy happened, and that was because we started a new game. We haven't had a chance to really dig into the new cards that we have, but we will. It'll come. Don't you worry. Oh, I'm going to get nailed a month or 2 in on that one. So, yeah, it's going to get really good. But it was great because we did roll a Yahtzee. So if we do roll another one, you now know the new rule on if we roll another 5 of a kind. Okay, so what we're going to talk about next is my challenges for 2026. So I have 2 challenges that I have created. Now, one is the 12-month series challenge. I will put up the example of it on this side for you to see. So it's where for 12 months, I have to read at least one book that continues a series. Okay. Now, I cannot read, like you're going to see what I'm reading here, as I'm actually going to read 3 books, but I'm reading 3 books from the 36 that I picked as my must reads. So I have 36 books that are series continuations. One of them is going to go under January. So every month I'm going to read 3, but I'm only going to put 1 under January. So I think that that's fairly easy way to do this. So in this case, I'm going to show you the 3 books that I have picked. And the first one is going to be the one that's going to go under the January square. And that is Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun. This is the 3rd book in the series, Finley Donovan. She is a divorced stay-at-home mom with 2 young kids, precocious young kids, and a handful, okay? And she's a writer. And she struggles to write her books. But what ends up happening in each book is she kind of somehow ends up with dead bodies around her and people chasing her and her trying to get out of a sticky situation with her friends and making sure this doesn't touch her family and all kinds of things like that. And there's been a bunch of things that have happened with her ex-husband that have been kind of crazy. And her love life is a bit also chaos. Everything in this woman's life is chaos. And I love it very much. So looking forward to more chaos in this book. It's just, this starts with dating, diapers, and dodging bullets. Who said single moms can't have fun? So I don't want to read the whole synopsis because that might give it away. Don't want to give it away, clearly. So that's that one. Okay. Now, the next 2 are kind of science fiction, which is going to be relevant, and I'll explain that once we go through them. So next one is Cibola Burns by James S.A. Corey, and this is the 4th book in the Expanse series, which is science fiction, out in space. It deals with potential tensions between Earth and Mars and the asteroid belts that people have lived on for a long time. And now there is this new Gaetan entity and that kind of thing. And I really don't want to say any more than that. Just that it follows a crew, more or less. So they play a key role in every book. And there are, I think, 4 crew members. And the ship is called the Rocinante, I think, or Rocinante. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce the ship's name, but it is the ship that they have been using. And I think this just continues on with the situation. And yeah, I don't want to read anything because it might spoil particularly what happened in book 3, because this continues on with it. But I can't wait to read this one. These are all like 500-page books. But let me tell you, they actually read pretty fast, at least for me, because I love science fiction. But it's a very readable science fiction. It's not the kind of science fiction that goes over your head, and you have to sit down and you have to go back over each chapter again because you think you might have missed something. Oh, no, 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 no. And now this does have a lot of politics in it. Because there's a lot of politicking in the background that's going on, and a lot of military espionage. So it has like a bunch of stuff like that. I just love it. It's such a great series. So, fourth book, really looking forward to it. I actually have 3 of the books on my 36 list. So the other 2 will come up later in the year. So that's that one. Now I'm going to hold that one kind of off to the side. Okay. Now the other one I have is the 4th book. Is it 4th? Yes. 4th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, The Gate of the Feral Gods by Matt Dinniman. And I can't wait to get back into this again. So I have also put 3 of these books on the list of 36 for 2026. Can't wait to read them. This one deals with Carl, and it says, new achievement, total utter failure. You failed a quest less than 5 minutes after you received it. Now that's talent. So this is Carl and Donut, and they are working their way through levels in a dungeon that was created by aliens who basically destroyed all the structures and everything on Earth, and then opened up to this dungeon underground, and people that were left alive went in there. That's what happened. With Carl, and Donut went with him, and Princess Donut now talks. I'll leave it at that. It is just so good. It is so good. So, of course, this is very science fiction-y. Very fantasy, lit RPG, but to me it sits in the science fiction category. So these 2 books here are going to be a potential vlog. I am just starting this idea to see how it goes, because I've never done vlogs before. So I'm going to vlog as I read them and provide feedback. And hopefully it comes out okay. Now I'm doing that with this and with something else. So you're going to see there's going to be like kind of 2 opportunities for me to create vlogs. And if they both come out great, I will post them. And if only one comes out okay, then you're only going to get one. But I'm just saying these 2 books are potentially one vlog. Okay? Okay, so now we're going to move on to the other challenge that I have created. So this challenge is my Goodreads Choice Challenge. And I created this, I will also put that up for you to see, from 5 of the Goodreads categories. And I picked 5 books from each of those categories that I have not read. Okay, and I have also indicated on it if they made it to round 2, so you can see that on the page that I've given you, and if any of them won. So I'm going to leave it there. All right, some of the books that are in there are on my list of 36 books that are part of the series challenge, and that just kind of happened that way. So some of them will get read in accordance with that challenge. So that's going to happen anyway. But we're just starting off fresh. So what I did was I picked 3 books that I kind of felt sort of fit together a little bit, and that I could potentially do a vlog for. Now, these books, like in comparison to these 2 science fiction books, these 3 books are the same size as one of those. So that's why I decided to do this one as well, because one might come out okay and the other one might not, because this one is so super long, but we shall see. So the first book that I picked is Famous Last Words, and I believe this is under mystery and thrillers. I'm just guessing off the top of my head because I don't have that in front of me. Next time I do this, I will make sure I have that in front of me. But yeah, so this, I'm pretty sure this is Mystery and Thrillers, and this is by Gillian McAllister, and this is about a woman. I don't even have to read it because I know it's about a woman who wakes up, finds out that her husband has taken people hostage. So kind of goes from there. And yeah, just very much looking forward to it. Not a super long book, I don't think. No, a little over, tiny bit over 300 pages. So all of these I think are 3 to 350 in around there. But I thought this would be a great place to start is with this. Okay, so that's the first book. The second book I picked is my horror choice, which is Rachel Harrison's Playing Nice. Now, I have read from Rachel Harrison before. Gillian McAllister, I've never read anything of hers, so this would be my first book of hers. But Rachel Harrison, I have read hers before. I love her books, and I love the sound of this. This is a whole haunted house thing with these sisters, and they have to go back to this house to basically clear it out to sell it because their mother has passed away. So I loved the sound of it. It sounds super creepy. It doesn't sound overly horror, but I don't know because I haven't gotten into it. The one book that I've read from her, Such Sharp Teeth, it had the horror element to it, but it wasn't overly horror. Like it wasn't gruesome or gross or anything like that. It just had that thrilling, horror-y kind of feel to it. That was it. So we'll see. So that is the second book. And again, this one, what is this one? 300 pages? Yeah. So exactly same size as this one. And interestingly enough, these are both Book of the Month choices. Okay? Because we knew I had a lot of Book of the Month and a lot of aardvark. And the next one is aardvark. And I picked this one because it fits with these, even though technically Dissolution by Nicholas Binge is under the science fiction category. But this to me is a science fiction mystery. Okay? And I'm going to read a little bit of it. So I found it super interesting. Some memories aren't lost, they're stolen. Maggie Webb has lived the last decade caring for her elderly husband, Stanley, as memory loss gradually erases all the beautiful moments they created together. It's the loneliest she's ever felt in her life until a mysterious stranger named Hassan appears at her door, revealing a shocking truth. Stanley isn't losing his memories. Someone is actively removing them to keep a long-buried secret from coming to light. If Maggie does what she's told, she can reverse the degeneration. She can get her husband back. So that's what I liked about this, is that it has a sci-fi feel, but it's definitely a mystery. Sounds like it might be a little bit of thrilling as well. So I thought it fit with these two books. And, I can't remember what this was, $350. So in around $350. So size-wise, like I said, it's like one of these. So the 3 books together. So I thought this would be a perfect combination of books to do a vlog, right? Yes. So that's the plan. I'm going to try. So it's going to be these 3 as sort of your mystery, thriller, sci-fi, and these 2 as your like sci-fi, lit RPG. Yeah, I think it's going to be good. Now, obviously, the only one I'm not including in that is Finley Donovan, and that's because it just doesn't fit in with this. And this is just a fun ride that will take me like maybe, a day to read. It's not that long. So that kind of fits in there with that. Like that. But yeah, so, I am going to give this a try. Like I said, never done vlogs before, but I do like the style of vlog where they're simple and you just follow along as I'm reading through the books and give you my feelings on how things are going in the story. Now, because these two are continuations, clearly there's going to be spoilers. There's no way to continue on with these series because they're so far in. You know, they're both books 4 in a long series. So there's going to be spoilers. So I will say that at the beginning of any vlog that there will be spoilers. In this particular case, I'm going to try not to give spoilers because that will potentially ruin the book. Either that, or I will say my vlogs do have spoilers contained in them, and then it's left up to you on whether or not you want to follow them through. But I'm going to ask, you tell me what you prefer as far as vlogs. Do you mind if there's spoilers, or do you not want any spoilers? So that will kind of give me a guide to how I might do them myself. Okay? All right, so I think that is actually it. This video is done. That is my January TBR, and I'm sure I've probably left something out because I always leave something out. But so that is getting us into the new year, and can't wait to see how it goes, and how my experimentation on everything goes, and also how the new game goes all the way into 2026. So that's it for today, and we will see you in the next video.